Hello everyone, my name is David. Today, we are going to take a look at another horrible case with you. The date was December 1st, 1976, around 8 p.m. This story is set in a small city in India, Pune. People were heading home from their offices in the night, although it was quite cold and foggy. Most people would quickly have their dinner and go to sleep during the night. In Pune, there was a bungalow named Smruti. This bungalow was the most luxurious in Pune. The head of the household here was a professor of culture, and everyone highly respected him because he was very wealthy and highly educated. Around 8 p.m., there were 5 people inside the house. The owner of the house, Kashinath Shastri Abhyankar, whose age was 88 years, and his wife, Indira Bai, who was 76 years old. Their grandson, Danjay, who was 19 years old, and their granddaughter, Jai, who was 21 years old, were also present. Additionally, they had a maid named Sakubai, so there were 5 people inside the house. Around 8:10 at night, the doorbell rings at home, and shortly after, the head of the household, Kashinath, opens the door. As soon as he opens the door, 4 young men are standing outside the house. They seem to be asking for someone's address, but as soon as Kashinath speaks to them, those boys stuff a handkerchief into his mouth, and not only that, they also tie a blue nylon rope around his neck, which causes him to die right there. The remaining 4 members of the household were very nervous after seeing all this. They couldn't understand what to do. After this, the attention of those 4 people goes to Kashinath's wife, Indira Bai, and those 4 thieves put a blue nylon rope around her neck and also beat her. After that, they go to the maid of this house, Sakubai, and she also gets beaten. After this, it's Danjoy's turn. He and the other 4 thieves do the same with him. First, they stuff cloth into his mouth, then they strangle him with a blue rope, and he too meets his end there. Now inside the house, only a 21-year-old girl named Jai survives. The 4 thieves approach her, and seeing them, she gets scared and starts crying. The thieves ask her to take off her clothes. She had no other choice, so she had to take off her clothes. Then the thieves ask her where the valuable items are kept inside the house. The girl tells everything to the thieves. The thieves steal valuable items and jewelry, then proceed to beat the girl just as they had done before with the 4 murders. After that, all the thieves leave from here. Then at 10 o'clock at night, 2 other members of this family, who were Kashinath's son and daughter-in-law, went out somewhere to eat. After eating, they return home at 10 o'clock, unaware of what has happened to their house. As soon as they both come home, they get a little surprised to see the door of the house open, because before today, the door of their house was never open at night, and as soon as they enter the house, they get surprised to see 5 bodies inside the house. They both start crying loudly and screaming. Hearing their cries, the neighbors also gather there, and seeing the bodies inside the house, they all get shocked. That's when the police are informed, and after some time, the police also arrive there. When the police arrived, there was a crowd of people there. The police pushed through the crowd and looked at all the bodies. The police noticed that the girl's body had no clothes on it, and besides that, everyone was strangled with the help of a nylon rope. The police were astonished to see this, and one officer said that he had seen this murder a month ago. Before moving forward, quickly subscribe to the channel. This is strange. You haven't subscribed to the channel yet. Quickly subscribe to it. Now let's go back a month. On November 1st, 1976, in a house in Pune, lived a man named Achyut Joshi. Joshi was a very wealthy businessman. He was relaxing at home with his wife late at night. Then suddenly 4 people enter the house and capture these 2. They beat them up and later stuff cloth into their mouths. After that, they tie a blue rope around their necks and strangle them to death. After that, the thieves start stealing in the house, searching for valuable items. Suddenly, they sense someone is coming outside the house, so all the thieves hide. Inside the house, Anand Joshi, the younger son of Mr. Joshi, comes in. He had no idea that there were thieves hiding inside the house. As soon as the child enters the house, the thieves catch him and beat him up. After this, the thieves tell him to take off his clothes. The child cries and pleads, but the thieves make him take off his clothes. Then the thieves ask the child where the valuable items are inside the house. The child tells them everything, but there is no valuable item inside the house. All these thieves thought they would find a lot of money inside the house, but they found nothing. After that, they killed the child just like they had killed his parents, and then left from here. Sometime later, a police team also arrives there. When the police arrive here and see the 3 bodies, they are also astonished because this was the first case of this town where thieves had killed 3 people in the house. After that, the police see that all the belongings of the house are scattered. In addition to this, the police notice a strange smell coming from inside the house. It seemed like perhaps the thieves intentionally sprayed perfume inside the house. Besides, there were no clothes on the bodies of the An and Joshi. In addition, the forensic team collects fingerprints from the house. Then the next day, when the report comes, it is found that all these fingerprints belong to the family members. This meant that the thieves were very clever. They were wearing gloves. Besides, the police also suspected that this couldn't be the work of just one person. They felt that more than 2 people might be involved in this act. The police couldn't understand one thing. If the thieves only intended to steal and even harmed a family member, then why did they undress An and Joshi? Now we return to December 1st, when thieves had killed 5 family members. Fear had gripped the entire city of Pune. People wouldn't venture out of their homes at night, and not just that. As soon as the sun set, they would lock their doors so that no one could go out or come in. Not only that, but cinemas across Pune had to close at night because no one dared to go watch a movie. The police didn't know how many members were in the gang of thieves, whether it was 2, 3, 4, or more. Now the police had no evidence to trace that gang. After this, a team of CRPF is called for police assistance. CRPF is Special Forces. The police now had so much confidence that they believed the same group was behind the deaths of 3 members of the Joshi family on November 1st, 1976, and 5 members of the Abhyankar family on December 1st, 1976, because the way members of both families were killed was exactly the same. Months passed with no leads on the gang, but then on the evening of March 23, 1977, the police received a phone call informing them that a body had been found on the banks of the river. The police team immediately arrives there and begins to investigate. The police observe that the body is tied with an iron stairs. Upon seeing the police body, it becomes evident that it's a murder case. Then the police's attention shifts to the neck of the corpse, where there was a blue-colored rope. By observing the way the rope was tied, the police realize that this too is the work of the same gang they have been searching for the past 5 months. Afterwards, the police carefully examine the corpse, and then they find an ID card from the man's pocket, which had his name written on it, Anil Gokhale. Additionally, the ID card belonged to Abhinav Kala Mahavidyalaya College. Now the police knew that their next lead would be found in this college. On the other hand, the report reveals that the man was murdered just a day ago. After that, a team of police goes to the college and meets every boy who knew Anil Gokhale. The police also ask the students if Anil Gokhale had any enmity with anyone and who Anil was last seen with. But the police don't find any leads. They feel they might return empty-handed today as well. However, just then a boy approaches the police and says he wants to tell them something, but they shouldn't take his name in front of anyone. The police assure him they won't reveal his name and ask him what he wants to say. The boy then reveals that he last saw Anil with Rajendra Jakal, and the boy also says, "I suspect only Rajendra." After this, the police start searching for Rajendra, and soon after they find Rajendra at the gate. The police take him to the station for questioning. They ask him, "Where were you on March 22nd and 23rd? Then Rajendra tells them that he was with his 3 friends whose names are Dalip Sattar, Shantaram Jagtar, and Munawar Shah. After some time, the police also take Rajendra's 3 friends to the police station. After this, the police seat everyone in separate rooms and interrogate them. Here, one thing becomes clear to the police that these 4 friends are lying, and the police also had suspicions that they might have committed the murder. However, due to the suspicion, the police couldn't arrest anyone, so after interrogation, the police let everyone go. A few days later, a police officer calls Rajendra to the police station again and interrogates him. The police officer tells Rajendra to tell the truth about what he did with Anil Gokhale, because every boy we asked mentioned your name and said you were with Anil last. But here, Rajendra tells the police that I think Anil Gokhale and Prakash Hegde's murder is similar. Here, the police officer asks Rajendra who exactly Prakash Hegde is. Then Rajendra tells the police that Prakash also studied in our college and he too was murdered. I think both of their murders were done by the same person. After this, the police start searching for Prakash Hegde's background. The police then came to know that on January 16, 1976, it was reported that Prakash Hegde, a student at Abhinav College of Fine Arts, had gone missing. But the police only knew that Prakash Hegde was missing, and he had not been found yet. The police did not know that Prakash Hegde had been murdered. The police think they don't know about Prakash Hegde's murder. But how do they know about Rajesh and Prakash Hegde's murder? The police don't put Rajendra in jail, but they needed evidence against Rajendra and his friends. So 2 police officers start keeping an eye on Rajendra and his friends in civilian clothes. One day, 4 friends were standing outside the college. Rajendra and Munavar Shah left from there, but Dilip and Shantaram were standing there talking, unaware that 2 policemen in ordinary clothes were standing behind them. Then Dilip says, "What will the police do now?" Then Shantaram says to him, "Don't worry, boss. We'll handle everything." After this, both police officers go to the police station, inform their seniors, and the senior officer says, "We are missing something. Now let's step back a bit." It was the 22nd of November, 1976. The Abhinakar family was alive, but 3 members of the Joshi family had been murdered. The time between the murders of these 2 families was passing. In Pune, there was a bungalow named Yoshmati Bhavan. 4 thieves entered the bungalow with the intention of theft, but they didn't know that the servants in this bungalow had weapons. Seeing the weapons with the servants, all the thieves got scared. Then one thief said to the other, "Boss, should we go inside or not?" Among these 4, one was the boss, and the entire team worked on his command. Then the boss tells him, "Going inside could prove dangerous for us, so let's leave without stealing anything." Afterwards, a member of the Joshamari building comes to the police the next day and files a complaint of theft because there was no theft at home. Therefore, the police do not pay much attention to this case. The police's attention was on the Joshi family at that time, whose 3 members had died. Now the police's suspicion about these 4 had deepened even more. Instead of apprehending these friends, the police focused on gathering evidence against them. Then a police team visited the college and interrogated about them. That's when the police learned from the college that these 4 boys are troublemakers. They come to college every day but never attend classes. Besides, they also indulge in fights and harass girls. In college, a boy named Sadish catches the attention of the police. He seemed quite nervous. The police then approach Sadish and inquire about these 4 people. Sadish responds that all the murders that have happened in Pune were committed by Rajendra and his friends, as Rajendra himself had confessed this to him. The police already had suspicions about Rajendra and his friends, but now they were convinced. After this, another name enters the story, Sohas Chandal. Sadish also tells the police that Sohas Chandal had once gone with them to commit theft. Perhaps he too might have been involved in some murder. After this revelation, the police apprehend Sohas and take him to the police station. So, Sohas was very scared, but the police assured him that if he cooperated with them, they would either reduce his punishment or even forgive him altogether. Sohas then told the police everything about the story that they didn't know. He not only confesses to the police, but also agrees to become a government witness. After that, the police arrest all 4 friends and take them to the police station, where they are locked up in jail. Now, with the government witness in their hands, the police interrogate Rajendra. They say, "Now tell us your entire story," and Rajendra tells them all about how he committed so many murders. The story begins at Abhinav College, where these 4 individuals came from different places to this college. However, all were notorious in studies and sharp in conflicts. Hence, these 4 form a team, with Rajinder Jakal as their boss. As Rajinder instructed his team, everyone followed suit. Rajinder had built a small hut 5 kilometers away from the college. All his friends used to gather here to drink alcohol and indulge in intoxication. One day, when they didn't have money to buy alcohol, they thought about stealing. They started with small thefts, like stealing someone's motorcycle or bicycle and selling it. Now they thought, why not commit a big theft? After this, Rajinder tells Sohas Chandal, bring Parkash Hegde here somehow, because Parkash's father used to run a roadside eatery and was quite wealthy. They thought they would trap Parkash and demand money from his father. Sohas somehow brings Parkash to Rajinder's place, and they're all the friends together make Parkash a captive. He is first beaten up severely. Then all the friends forced Prakash to write a letter. He wrote that I am leaving home and going out, so I need a lot of money. After this, Prakash also puts his signature on the letter. After this, all the friends tie Prakash's hand with a blue-colored thread and tie it with an iron rod and throw it into the nearby river with a stone tied to it. Afterward, in some way, the letter written by Parkash is delivered to Prakash's father. The father reads the letter first, then he feels that his son has indeed gone somewhere. But when he sees his son's signature, he thinks that this signature is not his son's because, in the house, Prakash Hegde was called Devdas, and he always signed as Devdas. After this, the family goes to the police and says their son is gone, maybe lost, maybe he has gone abroad from India. The police also write this complaint, but they do not take this case too seriously. Now, a whole year had passed. Prakash Hegde had no whereabouts. Even the family didn't know whether their son was alive or not. On the other hand, their petty theft continued, and then they attempted another big hit. They attacked the Joshi family on November 1st. They didn't get much money here, but they ended up killing 3 members of the same family. Then, a month later, they attacked the Abhyankar family and got quite a sum of money. They killed 5 people here. Now their crime had already been proven in court, and all of them are sentenced to death by hanging. Now it is known that when these people killed the Joshi family and then when they killed the Abhyankar family, why was there a strange smell coming from their house? Actually, these people used to spray perfume after committing the murder so that the police couldn't reach them due to the smell, and ultimately one member of the family used to remove their clothes for this reason, so that he or she couldn't leave the house and kept listening to them. After this, all friends go to the High Court and appeal to reduce the punishment, but they are only given the punishment of hanging, and everyone is hanged. So, after all these friends are hanged, the fear among the people of Pune reduced a little. Thank you for joining us on this journey today. We hope you enjoyed the content and found it valuable. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos like this one.